3 races into the season, and we already have a clear picture on who the biggest winners and losers are compared to last season. The two teams are none other than Aston Martin and McLaren, with the former making huge gains and the latter dropping in the pecking order. Join us as we take a quick dive into how the 2022 and 2023 seasons compare for these teams and find out how efforts by McLaren might have dealt a blow to Aston Martin. Heading into the 2022 season made a clean slate for Aston Martin, which had placed 7th, and McLaren, who finished 4th in the 2021 Constructors' Championship. And with new regulations in 2022, a shakeup of the teams was expected, as greater downforce and closer racing would bring the pack together, and the margins in the points wouldn't be huge. But that wasn't the case. The new regulations proved a challenge for some of the teams, and from the very first race, the differences in cars and how they translated into performance were very, very visible. Both Aston Martin and McLaren found themselves struggling with their car designs, concepts, and were faced with endless problems ranging from porpoising, overheating, low downforce, just to name a few. McLaren finished 5th in the final standings, down from 4th in 2021, with 159 points compared to 275 the previous year. They recorded 1 podium compared to 5 in 2021, which included a 1-2 finish at Monza. McLaren's inability to fend off Alpine for 4th was exacerbated by Daniel Ricciardo's continued and arguably worsening struggles. The Australian never adjusted to the McLaren car and only accounted for 37 points last year. Aston Martin experienced a similar situation when, despite a slow start and 0 points in the first 3 races, it made a late comeback to finish 6th, but lost on the track to Alfa Romeo on countback, which meant that a 7th place finish, matching their constructor standings in 2021, but this time with only 55 points to their name. McLaren's performance has been declining for the past 3 years. In 2020, the team was 3rd in the championship, then 4th in 2021 and 5th in 2022. I'm almost placing my bets on 6 at the end of the season this year if the decline remains constant and is anything to go by. And despite improved progress through last year, the team's performance in the 2022 season can only be said to be greater when compared to the start of the season. This year, McLaren has had a catastrophic start. After the first 2 races of the season, they sat at the bottom of the standings with absolutely no hope in Australia. But owing to several incidents on the track at Albert Park, McLaren collected 12 points, with 6th and 8th positions for Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, respectively, affording the team 5th place in the championship. And if we're being honest, had there not been 8 car retirements during the race, the team would probably still be without a point. Aston Martin, in contrast, has had a great start to the season and has shown massive improvements from last year with 3 podium finishes so far, all from Fernando Alonso, a 4th and 6th finish, and 1 DNF. It's only 3 races, and Aston Martin now stands behind Red Bull in the championship with 65 points. 1 year ago at this time, the team had no points, and now it's in 2nd place. Oh my, how the tables have turned, as they say. How did they achieve this, you might be wondering? The AMR23, which is a significant development of the late-season AMR22, is a result of significant changes to Aston Martin's personnel, including a new technical director and deputy technical director, namely Dan Fallows and Eric Blendon, who joined in 2022 from Red Bull and Mercedes respectively. The AMR23 and its design were significantly influenced by them, but largely by Fallows, who worked alongside Adrian Newey, the genius aerodynamicist at Red Bull. These two are just a small part of the key figures that have arrived as part of a large recruitment drive undertaken by Lawrence Stroll, who hasn't been shy in his long-term vision for Aston Martin since acquiring the stricken Force India team in mid-2018. The recruitment drive has brought in several other experienced individuals from the world of Formula One, intending to make Aston Martin a competitive force in the sport. Now back to McLaren and why they're so far off the pace. The FIA introduced a new regulation to take action this year as a response to the porpoising issues experienced last season. The regulation mandated teams to reduce the flexibility of the car's floor by increasing the height of the diffuser's throat and strengthening its edges. The car floors would also be raised by 15 millimeters. The timing of the directive proved problematic for McLaren, causing a step backward and significant performance issues. The floor edge geometry of the car affected different teams in different ways, and the timing of the regulation meant that they had to change directions. Delays experienced in developing the MCL60 resulted in a team using a basic version of the MCL60 for the start of the season. McLaren felt its understanding of everything was not as robust as it needed to be, and James Key emphasized how it was risky to use the floor in the first race, as it needed to maintain stability and correlation to work. Not to worry, as winter development work is still ongoing. The team aims to introduce the first substantial package of new features in Baku that will officially start the 2023 season. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella has revealed that there are 3 significant rounds of upgrades planned, the second of which is due before the summer break and the last of which after the summer break. To get things moving in the right direction, the team released a statement communicating that there would be major restructuring, and we all know what that means. According to McLaren's F1 CEO Zak Brown, the pace of technological advancement in the team has not kept up with their desire to once again lead the grid. This reorganization has taken months to complete and comes ahead of several new key infrastructure projects that are set to come online in phases throughout 2023. The team has decided to do away with a single executive technical director position that oversaw the entire technical department. Instead, a Formula One technical executive team made up of 3 new, highly specialized technical director positions will be introduced and will report directly to team principal Andrea Stella. As part of this restructuring, James Key, the executive technical director, has left the group. Peter Prodorumu, who now serves as technical director aerodynamics, is a member of the technical executive team. Peter will be in charge of the whole aero function. He's going to use his 32 years of experience in Formula One and his track record of winning world championships to do this. David Sanchez will join the group starting January 1st of 2024 as the car concept and performance technical director. After 10 years at Ferrari, he brings a wealth of knowledge and creativity to the team. Neil Holdy has been promoted to the position of technical director, engineering and design. Since joining the group in 2006, Neil has advanced with the company, becoming a highly regarded technical leader. Giuseppe Pesci has received the promotion to director, aerodynamics, and chief of staff, and will assist Peter in managing the aero department. Lastly, Piers Stein expands his responsibilities as F1's team's chief operating officer in conjunction with these changes. Also, the team has been running a campaign to hire more technical experts. McLaren has now contracted 15 employers to expand the department, since some of whom are already employed and others who can only move after being given the boot. The senior executives are said to come from a variety of high-profile teams, including Ferrari, Red Bull, and Aston Martin. One of the key figures is Mariano Alperen, Aston Martin's head of aerodynamic performance and analysis. This is a rather large blow to Aston Martin and might affect future performance, as Alperen has played a role in the transformation of the British manufacturer, which is currently Red Bull's closest rival in F1. Alperen has extensive experience in Formula One, having worked for AGS and Minardi before joining British American Racing, and eventually becoming Honda's head of aerodynamics from 2006 to 2007. After Honda, he worked as the head of aerodynamic development at Sauber from 2008 to 2019, before joining Aston Martin as the chief of aerodynamic technology. I think we can all see the trend here, enacting a plan that's based on reorganizing the team, building new infrastructure, and hiring highly skilled technical personnel from other teams. Worked for Aston Martin, so maybe it'll work for McLaren as well. What this means for Aston Martin is that they might have a new target behind their back. Personally, I highly doubt that we're going to see massive gains from McLaren soon. It might take a while to finally see the result of all the changes that have happened. Still, we can't entirely cancel our 2023 season. I mean, maybe the promised upgrades will pay off, right? Do you think that Mariano Alperen's departure from Aston Martin is going to have a negative impact on him? Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. And unfortunately, guys, that marks the end of our video today. So, I hope you liked it. Make sure to do a quick pit stop at the subscribe button for more amazing F1 content, and I'll see you later. Ka-chow. That's a racing thing. I looked it up.